Okay, hi everyone. Happy New Year. The start of what I think will be a very exciting 2020 for Grand Seiko in general, and obviously also for collectors of vintage Grand Seiko, as the brand is going to be celebrating its 60th anniversary this year, and I think we're going to see a pretty big uptick on interest in collecting vintage Grand Seikos. I thought we'd kick off the year with a look at one of the more common vintage Grand Seikos that are out there, and that's from the 56 series. And what we're looking at here is almost a complete set, not quite, almost a complete set of the 5645 and 5646 7010 7011 watches. These were first introduced in 1970, so these are 50 years old this year. But at the end of 1970, the Volume 2 supplemental catalogue, which introduced just the white dial variants in both date version and day date version that we see here. I thought we'd just show this overview. I'm actually just going to be focusing on one watch, which will be listed on the site, which is this one here. But I thought it would be interesting to have a quick overview of the different references in these series, because it was great to see Stephen Pulverant from Hodinkee picked up a 5645, I think it was, on a trip to Tokyo recently, which is getting a lot of wrist time, and a lot of people really liking seeing that on his feed a couple of days ago. So it was great to see that. So I thought what we'll just do is quickly have an overview of these watches in terms of the different versions which are out there, before we then going to particularly look at this one in detail. All of these watches are available. I don't think any of them are currently listed on the website, so if you do see something which is of interest as I'm going through these, do drop me a line. Let me know if you're interested, because it will be some time before all these do get listed. So two different cases that we see here. We have obviously the majority of the watches have the steel case, the stainless steel case, but also these are available with cap gold cases, which we can see here in the date and the day date version. The other interesting thing which you'll notice from this gold one here, and also obviously from this one down here, this was originally, believe it or not, a white dial, is that the dials on the white dial watches do get patinated, and we see these really from pretty much every shade, from the pure white, which is how they start off, through to a cream, and then into yellows, and then into oranges. So you really do get quite a broad spectrum of patination. But this one that we're going to be focusing on later on is quite extraordinary, is the most extreme version we've got. So that's the white dial. This one here may look similar, may look like it's a white dial, but in actual fact this is a silvered dial, which we can see. You can see how it reacts to the sunlight. It's a silvered dial, whereas the white dial is a matte white dial. The silver dials are actually pretty rare. You don't see them that often, and I'm just quickly checking. They were introduced both in date and day date versions. It's the day date version of the silver dial, which is the only one I'm missing, in the 1972 catalogue, and were only in that one catalogue. So they were only on sale for a year. So they're pretty rare. I think what we'll do is, as we talk about these, we'll just move them out of the way. I said the first one to be introduced was the 5645 and the 5646 with white dials. As I said earlier on, they were introduced in the supplemental Volume 2 catalogue in 1970. What was also interesting is that these watches were also then made available on two different bracelets. Now, the early bracelet that we see in the catalogue is this one. We'll just bring that to the front. You can see sort of very thinly meshed bracelet here. This is a real hair trapper, this one, and it has that's originally was an applied GS logo, but that very often comes off. So that was the early bracelet. That was shown only on the only on the 5646, so the day date version, and that was first in the 1971 Volume 2 catalogue. And then in the 1973 Volume 1 catalogue, we then see this later bracelet, which is much more commonly found on these watches. Again, I think it was just pictured on the day-date version in that catalogue. But we do see these bracelets also listed in the watch band catalogue. I have one from 1972, which I think shows this one, and it states there obviously that it's available as an individual purchase, separate purchase, for both the date and the day-date version. So that's the two on the bracelets. We'll move those aside. Next ones, which are interesting and quite hard to get in, certainly in good condition, as we see these two. Both of these actually I have as full sets, although this one still has the original buckle, which we'll have a quick look at. So this is clearly a blue dial, and unlike a lot of the other Seiko blue dials from the period, we do find that these blue dials actually do seem to keep hold of their colour a little better, certainly than we would see on the VFAs, which I've discussed in the past. So there's blue dial variants. Put those to one side. So we discussed the white dial earlier on, and then finally, as I mentioned before, the cap gold. This one with just the date has got so developed a yellow patination on the dial over time, and here is the day-date version. So that's just a quick overview of the 5645 and 5646 7010 and 7011s. Okay, so what I'll focus on now is the watch which I'm actually going to get listed up today. So this is the 5646 7011 with this incredible patinated dial. This watch actually dates from January 1974, and as I mentioned earlier, these dials, these white dials, do patinate all sorts of colours, sort of ranging from cream through to orange. But I've never seen one like this before. We've had this for quite a while. We've been hanging on to stock, sort of waiting to get a lot of products listed in the new year in 2020. But we've actually had this for over a year now, I think. And it really is quite striking, quite a striking piece. Just want to talk quickly about the 5646 movement, because there's a couple of very important things to note about it. The first thing, unlike the 6146, is that this actually has a quick set day and date. So if we pull the crown out one position and we turn it clockwise, you can see that it's cycling through the days, both in English and kanji, which is a lot of people obviously like to leave it on the kanji days, and we have for Saturday and Sunday are shown in blue and red, and then you just turn it anti-clockwise to set the date. One of the important things, if you are quick setting one of these, is never ever attempt to quick set the watch when it's in the changeover period, and really just to be really safe on this, say from about 10 o'clock in the evening through to 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, or even more than that if you can. I never quick set anywhere near that time, because there is a part in the movement, in the quick set movement, which is actually a little cog which is made of plastic, and that plastic breaks very, very easily. Fortunately, you can get aftermarket metal replacement parts. So over time, I think a lot have had the replacement metal part put in. Obviously, it's not an official Seiko piece, but it is highly recommended to replace that part. And it's what we do actually if we ever get one of these and the quick set date has been broken, then we do replace it with a metal part rather than another piece of plastic, because it would just go again. So just to demonstrate the turnover, so note that we've left this on the kanji at the moment. So I've already got it pulled out, and I haven't pulled it out the whole way. So that's 10 in the morning at the moment. And we come around into the afternoon and then into the evening. And what you'll notice is that, first of all, the date, just about 10:30, the date starts to move. So any time after this, when the day and the date are updating as the time goes, you don't want to be changing it within this period. And then that will complete with a little snap at midnight. And then between midnight and about 1 o'clock, it'll do the first change on the day wheel. So that's gone to English. And then over the next hour, it'll then do the second change to get it back to the same language that you actually had it set in. So if you wanted to, instead of showing the kanji day, if you, whoa, iPhone falling over, thank you. If you wanted to see the kanji day, sorry, the English day, then obviously take it, so that's midday, so we know we can change it safely here. Pull it out one stop, what was it, clockwise for the date, for the day? Yep, so that's now on Wednesday. So now the opposite will happen, and as we come through to midnight, first of all the date changes, and then you see it goes to the kanji, and then just for 1 hour during the night when you're probably going to be asleep, it'll be showing it in your non-preferred language, and then for the rest of the 23 hours of the day, it'll show it to you in your preferred language. Okay, I'm just going to secure this little iPhone stand a little bit better, and then we'll continue. Okay, hopefully we won't have any more collapsing little mini tripods. So first of all, let's just have a look at the patination on this style. You can see some people have referred to this as sort of cappuccino or creme brulee. I think creme brulee is quite a good description, because it has got this overall sort of deep chocolatey colour to it. It's very even, which is what you're always looking for with you know, obviously lots of dials will patinate in different ways, but what you really want is sort of an overall patination across the whole dial. You can see it's slightly different around some of the indices and then the middle of the dial, but generally this is very nicely evenly patinated, and then with that marvellous sort of spotting of that slightly lighter colour. I mean, how this ended up like this, I have absolutely no idea, but it is gorgeous. And for this one, I'm actually going to be applying a bit of a premium to this because of the patination, because I do think it is just so gorgeous, and I think there's going to be quite a few people out there who would be interested in this one. So let's just have a quick overview of the case. It's not in mint spotless condition. I just want to point out a few of the dings. So here on the lug at the top there, just where my thumbnail is, if we look at the side of the case, there's a ding here, and just around there that looks okay. Another slight scratch there, original crown of course. Come back on the other side, and again showing sort of signs of wear and tear. There is quite a big ding on the case here, so this isn't a watch that you're going to have to you know, baby. It's got its marks already, which is quite nice, because it doesn't matter if you accidentally ding it yourself, you're not going to be ruining it. Let's just get it round the other way just so we can get a good look at the sides there. Maybe has had some light hand polishing over time, but still very nice sharp edges to the case. And just so you can see it in full detail there. And flipping over, so here we can see the serial number starting with 41, so indicating it's January 1974. An original medallion. Thank you to Victor, who pointed out that on the previous video that we had of the arabesque, we believe it's actually now a replacement medallion on the back of that one. We have adjusted the price accordingly. I'm hoping that maybe I can persuade Victor to do an article for the website on medallions and how to spot the replacements as opposed to the original ones, because he's put a lot of effort into looking at these and understanding both from Grand Seiko and King Seiko. So yeah, so pretty nice case back. And I think this is currently just on a generic sort of soft leather strap with a gold buckle that we got from Clockwork Synergy. It's not an expensive strap, but I think it does actually suit this watch really well. So we'll include this strap in the sale, and I think that's pretty much it. So there you go. So that was a brief overview of nearly all the 5646 and 5645 7010 7011s that we have in stock. As I said, we got pretty much the entire selection apart from the silver dial day date 5646. So if you saw any of the watches that you saw at the beginning of this video you're interested in, please do drop me a line, because it could be months before I get around to getting all of those on the site. I'll probably start with the blue ones, because they're going to be the more expensive ones. They, as I said, both the blues are actually full sets with inner and outer boxes and papers. So we'll maybe get those up in a couple of weeks. But I'm trying to mix and match the order of watches, so we get a nice variety of watches at different price points available on the site, newly listed in the new year. Okay, so there you go. Grand Seiko 5646 7011. I should just talk about that very quickly, actually. The one thing that I've never been able to get to the bottom of is why on the 5646 we have 7010 and 7011. And I've not done enough research yet to understand why there is a difference when it flipped over. Pretty certain these watches are only ever for the Japanese market. So what that last digit changing from a 0 to a 1 signifies, not entirely sure. But to all intents and purposes, they are identical, whether it's 7010 or 7011. It is the same watch. So there you go. Thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. And we'll be back probably over the weekend or early next week with another listing. Take care and have a great new year.